Hey there, amazing fans! Before we dive into today's drama, don't forget to subscribe, smash that like button, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support means the world to us. Now, welcome to another relaxing moment with Sugar Stories. Grab a seat, sit back, relax, and let's journey into the story together. The grand ballroom of the Hilton in Lagos glittered under 1,000 crystal chandeliers. Damien Akintola, billionaire mogul of Akintola Group, stood at the center of the crowd with his fiancée, Vanessa Adeniran. Tonight was supposed to be a celebration of their engagement, the pinnacle of his carefully curated life. Men in tuxedos and women in couture dresses murmured excitedly as waiters passed trays of champagne. Photographers snapped pictures, immortalizing the glamour. Just as Damien raised his glass to make a toast, the double doors at the entrance burst open. Two young men, identical twins in sharp black suits, but without invitations, strode in confidently. The crowd's chatter stilled into a shocked silence. Damien's brow furrowed. What the hell? Zane, the taller twin, strode toward Damien and grabbed the microphone from his hand. We need to talk to Damien. It's urgent. Gasps echoed across the room. Vanessa's face paled. Damien stepped forward, his voice low and icy. Who are you, and what is this nonsense? Cairo, the more reserved twin, lifted a manila envelope and unfolded a set of papers. His voice, though shaking, was determined. We're your sons. A hush swept over the room like a tsunami. Glasses clinked to the floor. Damien blinked, stunned, but then scowled. This is absurd. Some prank. Zane cut in. It's not a prank. We have proof. Cairo handed Damien the DNA report. Vanessa gasped as she leaned in to look at it. Her voice quivered with disbelief. This can't be. Damien, say something. Damien's hand trembled as he scanned the documents. The names were clear, Zane and Cairo Bello. His own name was listed as their biological father. The weight of the words seemed to crush the air out of the room. Vanessa's voice was a sharp whip. Is this true, Damien? Did you father these? Twins, Cairo snapped, his voice cracking but resolute. We're your sons. You knew our mother, Aisha Bello. She never told you because she thought you abandoned her. But we're here now. And you can't ignore us. Damien's mouth worked, but no sound came. He glanced at Vanessa, whose face twisted in fury and betrayal. She shoved past him and fled, her heels clicking furiously across the marble floor. Paparazzi, emboldened by the scandal, surged forward, capturing the chaos. In the aftermath, the ballroom descended into a hum of whispered gossip. Damien's close friends and business partners exchanged wary glances. The twins stood their ground as security approached, uncertain whether to eject them or let the scene unfold. Damien finally found his voice. This has to be fake. A mistake. Cairo's jaw tightened. It's not. Our mother didn't even know we were doing this. We did the DNA test ourselves. You were in Milan 15 years ago, weren't you? You met her there. You left without knowing. Damien's head spun. Memories of a whirlwind romance with a stunning young designer named Aisha surfaced. He had returned to Nigeria before he could fully process what they had. It had been fleeting, passionate, but fleeting. Vanessa's voice, shrill and raw, cut through his thoughts as she stormed back into the room, her eyes blazing. You hid this from me. From everyone. How could you? I didn't know, Damien protested, but the words rang hollow. Zane stepped forward, holding up his phone. We've gone public already. Social media's buzzing. You can't hide from this anymore, Damien. The room erupted into shocked exclamations as reporters scrambled to post updates. Vanessa's family, the powerful Adenirans, murmured angrily, threatening legal action. Damien's face paled as he realized the scale of the disaster. Zane's voice was low but fierce. We're not here for your money. We just want to know the truth. You deserve to face it. Across town, in her luxurious penthouse overlooking Victoria Island, Aisha Bello sat at her sewing machine, adding final touches to a gown fresh from her Milan show. Her assistant, Mariam, burst into the studio, waving her phone. Aisha, you need to see this. It's all over Instagram. The twins, they went to Damien's engagement party. Aisha's heart slammed into her ribs. She snatched the phone and scrolled through grainy videos of Zane and Cairo confronting Damien in front of a stunned crowd. Her hands shook, the phone slipping from her fingers. "No, no, no," she whispered. She grabbed her phone and called Zane. No answer. Still no answer. Panic clawed at her throat. She tried messaging them, her texts growing increasingly frantic. Mari's voice was soft but insistent. "They're brave. They just wanted the truth." Aisha sank into a chair, pressing her palm to her forehead. Her mind whirled with memories, Damien's smile, the promises he'd made before leaving. She'd never told him she was pregnant, afraid he'd dismiss her, afraid of the power difference between them. But the twins, they had taken matters into their own hands. "I have to stop this before it gets worse," Aisha said, determination tightening her voice. She grabbed her bag. "Call the car. I'm going to Damien's house." Back at Damien's mansion, the twins had entrenched themselves like an occupying force. His security team had tried to remove them, but the household staff, charmed by their wit and warmth, had rallied to their side. They played chess with the gardener, helped the chef prepare dinner, and even offered tech advice to Damien's younger brother. Damien's mother, Mama Lola, arrived in a swirl of elegant Ankara fabric, her face grim. She summoned Damien into the study, her voice low. "Damien, we need to talk." He followed her, his nerves frayed. Mama Lola closed the door, her hands clasped tightly. "I've known about them for years." "What?" Damien recoiled. "You knew." "Yes," she confessed. "Aisha told me. I didn't tell you because I thought she was beneath you. I wanted you to marry Vanessa, settle down properly." His mind reeled. His mother's words cracked the foundation of everything he'd believed. "You lied to me." "I protected you," Mama Lola insisted. "And our family's name." Damien's voice was bitter. "At what cost? My sons grew up thinking I abandoned them. Vanessa's gone. The media's destroying me. And you lied." Downstairs, Zane and Cairo overheard fragments of the conversation. They exchanged glances, the realization dawning that the family they tried to join was far more complicated than they imagined. The gates of Damien's mansion opened just as twilight painted the sky in dusky pinks. Aisha Bello, dressed in an elegant silk blouse and tailored slacks, strode up the driveway, her heels clicking with determination. The guards hesitated, but she lifted her chin. "Tell Damien I'm here. Now." Word spread through the mansion. Damien emerged, his face taut. The twins rushed forward. "Mom." Aisha embraced them tightly. "Are you both all right?" Zane nodded. "We had to do it. He needed to know." Damien stepped closer, his voice wary. "Aisha, why didn't you tell me?" Her laugh was brittle. "You disappeared. You never came back. I thought you knew and didn't care." "I didn't," he murmured, guilt shading his voice. "I would have done something. Anything." Aisha's eyes flashed with fury. "Well, it's too late for excuses. You owe them more than your wealth. They deserve your love, your acknowledgement." Damien's lips thinned. "I never asked for this scandal." "They didn't either," Aisha snapped. "They're your children. Your blood. You can't brush them aside because it's inconvenient." The twins stood frozen, watching their parents' argument unfold like a storm. Cairo's voice was soft but cut through the tension. "We just want a family, Dad." The word hung in the air. Dad, raw and unfamiliar. Damien's shoulders sagged. Aisha's anger softened as she looked at the twins, their identical faces filled with hope and hurt. "They need you, Damien." The mansion's lights flickered on, illuminating them in a golden glow as the staff and a few lingering reporters gathered outside, capturing every moment. Damien glanced at them, then back at his sons, his voice breaking. "I don't know if I'm ready." Aisha stepped closer. "Neither were we. But they're here. And they're waiting." By morning, the scandal had exploded across every major news outlet, gossip blog, and social media platform. Headlines screamed, "Billionaire Damien Akintola's secret twins crash engagement party." Vanessa Adeniran calls off engagement. Fiancé exposed by DNA bombshell. Aisha Bello, fashion icon or homewrecker? The internet can't decide. At Damien's mansion, chaos reigned. His PR team huddled in his office, drafting damage control statements. Mama Lola, visibly shaken, paced the living room, muttering prayers under her breath. The staff whispered in hallways, glancing anxiously at the twins, who sat at the massive dining table with Aisha, scrolling through their phones in disbelief. Zane scrolled through comments. #Akintola twins is trending worldwide. Cairo's voice was low. Everyone's picking sides. Some think mom's a hero. Others are calling us opportunists. Aisha's fingers trembled as she set down her phone. This wasn't how I wanted it. I just wanted the truth. Damien entered, looking hollowed out and exhausted. His suit was rumpled, his tie missing. The board's threatening to remove me as CEO. Vanessa's family's preparing a lawsuit for breach of promise. Aisha's jaw clenched. You're worried about lawsuits? Your sons are sitting here, wondering if their father will stand up for them. Damien exhaled heavily, running his hand through his hair. You think this is easy? I'm about to lose everything. Cairo stood, his voice soft but steady. And we lost everything years ago. A father. A family. You can't lose what you never fought for. The room fell silent, the weight of his words settling over them. Damien's gaze flicked to the twins, then to Aisha, whose expression was a blend of exhaustion and defiance. He realized, with a pang of guilt, that he had let his ambition blind him for too long. After a long pause, Damien's voice was rough. Sit, all of you. Let's figure this out. Aisha hesitated, but the twins exchanged glances, nodding. For the first time, Damien saw not just the scandal but the human cost behind it. The longing for connection, the pain of rejection. He gestured toward the hallway. I'll have rooms prepared. But we need to keep the press at bay. This is going to get uglier before it gets better. For a brief, fragile moment, it seemed the fractured family might heal. The twins settled into the mansion, charming the staff with their humor and winning over even Mama Lola, who found herself laughing despite her earlier reservations. Aisha's fierce independence softened as she witnessed Damien's tentative efforts to bond with his sons. Then came the knock at the door. Vanessa stood on the threshold, dressed impeccably, her eyes glistening but her chin held high. Damien's breath caught as he saw her. Vanessa, he whispered. She stepped inside, her voice tight. I'm pregnant. The words dropped like a bomb. Aisha's mouth parted in shock. Zane's hand clenched into a fist. Cairo's face drained of color. Vanessa's voice trembled but was steely. It's yours, Damien. I found out just after the engagement party. I wasn't going to tell you, but now. I have to. Damien staggered back as if struck. The twins' faces mirrored betrayal and hurt. Aisha straightened, her lips a thin line. So what are you saying, Vanessa? I'm saying, Vanessa snapped, that Damien needs to think about his future. His child. Not just these twins who appeared out of nowhere. Zane's voice cracked. We're his family too. You're his past, Vanessa countered coldly. This is his future. The tension in the room crackled like static. Damien's gaze darted between Vanessa, Aisha, and the twins. His pulse roared in his ears. He was being torn apart, between the life he'd built with Vanessa, with its luxury and security, and the truth of his bloodline that had crashed into his world. The twins stood side by side, defiant. You have to choose, Dad, Cairo said quietly. Not just between us and her. Between the truth and the lie. Between love and convenience. Aisha's voice was steady but fierce. I raised them without you. I can do it again. But don't pretend you can have it both ways. Vanessa's eyes gleamed with unshed tears. I won't raise our child in a world where he's overshadowed by scandal. Choose me, Damien. Or lose me. The room held its breath. Damien's heart pounded. He thought of his empire, the expectations of his family, the glittering facade he'd spent years constructing. But then his eyes met the twins, their faces so like his own, filled with hope and fear. He glanced at Aisha, the woman he'd once loved and still admired. He saw the strength it had taken her to raise them alone. And then he thought of Vanessa, the woman he was supposed to marry, now carrying his child. At last, Damien stepped forward, his voice ringing out in the hush. Enough! He turned to the gathered press, who had swarmed outside the gates, their cameras flashing. He gestured for them to come in. The security guards hesitated but allowed a few reporters to step into the foyer. Damien faced the cameras. His voice was steady, resolute. I have made mistakes. I have hurt people I care about. But I will not turn my back on my children. Zane and Cairo are my sons. I will stand by them as their father. The twins' eyes filled with tears. Aisha pressed her lips together, swallowing emotion. Damien continued, his voice breaking. I'm sorry to Vanessa and her family. But I will not live a lie. If she is carrying my child, I will be there for them as well. But I will not choose one family over another. I will choose truth and I will choose love. The reporters erupted with questions. Cameras flashed wildly. The footage streamed live, instantly becoming viral. Vanessa's face crumpled, her voice a strangled whisper. You're choosing them over me. Damien's voice was gentle. I'm choosing honesty. And I'm choosing to be the father I should have been. Aisha stepped forward, her hand brushing Damien's. It wasn't reconciliation, but it was a beginning. The twins embraced each other, their relief palpable. In that moment, the family stood united against the glare of cameras and the roar of public opinion. Outside, the headlines spun into a frenzy. Damien Akintola chooses love over scandal in live press conference. The Akintola Bello family saga continues. Twins, scandal, and a billionaire's redemption. As the cameras continued to roll, Damien's voice resonated with quiet strength. This is just the beginning.